Activision devs do not play their own game. It's not your dad doesn't support you.
You should know, you worked at a coffee shop, you stupid bitch.
My name is Casey, and absolutely not fucking Tanner, because my parents don't hate me that much.
Hey, did they have just 8 patches lined up, but they just didn't release them because they were on break? No, you moron kids.
Then we'll, of course, get into it. Change your fucking name and get scammed. He's feeling under the weather.
I probably won't say another word until Stay Humble, so have a good pod, Raz. I'll be here listening.
Got it. We are live. Welcome, boys and girls, to the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast, episode number 206. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. I am joined with an exceptional hoodie on today, by the way, and the same hat as always, by my good friend Tanner. Tanner, how you doing, bud?
Good. What's up?
It's nice and cold out, huh? Hoodie weather?
We sell these actually. You ever seen this hoodie before? It's pretty cool. We do sell it.
It's a pretty legit hoodie. It's got
Did you get yours?
I did. It looks like it fits perfectly. It's extremely comfortable. It's flattering, and it is of the highest quality. And there's a small, tasteful logo on the upper left breast. Is that correct?
And there's some toothpaste on there from this morning too. Yeah, looking great, man.
So they don't ship with toothpaste. I don't know what Tanner's doing in the fucking warehouse, but some of them might.
Depends the order zone. Yeah.
I mean, who knows, man? You know. So regardless, welcome everybody. So if you're here live, we started a little late. I had a haircut appointment. My barber pushed it back, so we're a little late, and that's fine. And if you're listening on an app, you don't even know that. But now you do, though. So anyways, welcome to the show. Today, we don't have much to talk about, or much we're going to do, but also we have a lot to talk about. So basically, all we're going to be doing for this afternoon is talking about Season 2 Warzone patch notes and those changes. This week, as maybe some of you know if you're following the Twitter, is going to be a little weird, a little different. Tanner will be going to Zion National Park this weekend, so...
Got it. Let's move on from the Zion. I haven't been to Zion in 3 years.
Well, where are you going this weekend?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah,
it doesn't matter because you're going to Zion. I know.
Okay. I wish I was going to Zion. Actually, Zion's fantastic, but I haven't been there.
Whatever. Tanner's gonna go to Zion. I don't know what he's gonna pretend to say what he's doing this weekend. So the schedule is kind of weird for this week. But regardless, we will be doing our episodes obviously just on Tuesday and Thursday instead of on Thursday and Saturday. So today's Tuesday. We're gonna be doing that. And we're going to go through these Warzone patch notes. Before we do, a couple announcements real quick. First of all the new patrons, thanks. I'll be acknowledging and thanking all of you guys on Thursday rather than today. We normally do it for the first episode of the week, but for this week, we're going to do it for the second episode of the week. But if you did join up, fret not. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll give you the thanks you deserve next time, episode 207. On the topic of the Patreon, we are finally on the board for February.
Let's go.
We're on the board. Tanner and I recorded a Warzone brainstorm post-Season 2 yesterday. We played post-Season 2 for about 3 hours or so. And then we did a Warzone brainstorm, and a lot of it was informed by our first impressions of Season 2 as it relates to Warzone. Now, not all of it was a first impressions episode. We will be doing that on Thursday after we've played more. But some of it was just talking about the Season 2 shit, but a lot of it was just more talking about a regular ass Warzone brainstorm. We asked a lot of interesting questions. We've gotten some feedback. Bango said that the 3-line optic is still misaligned. I think that might be true. I don't recall in the patch notes if they said anything about that.
I don't think they did.
I think True Game Data pointed this out on Twitter or something, and Raven may or may not have replied to that. I'm not really sure. But we're going to go through these patch notes today, and we'll get an answer on if they mentioned anything or not. So that is that. But the Warzone brainstorm went over very well. It's live, and we've still got 6 more bonus episodes for the month of February, which you will be getting. So for now, that Warzone brainstorm, it's available to all patrons, patreon.com/thedropshot, as well as like 75 more bonus episodes, just immediately accessible
Immediately.
if you sign up at any tier, really. So, Tanner, how'd you enjoy doing that brainstorm, little tiny fucking
Award-winning. I think it was award-winning.
It was really good.
Yeah, I think it was a fantastic brainstorm. It was nice to do it because a lot of it was kind of like directly season 2 related. Some changes and stuff that happened, of course. So I like that one a lot. I thought that was fantastic. A lot of good discussions in there. And yeah, there's a lot of shit to talk about with season 2. So I think we have a lot of banger eps coming up this month.
Yep, for sure. And like what happens with most brainstorm eps we do, and we do these pretty much every month, I would say, on the Patreon at patreon.com/dropshot. I always change something after doing this, or try something at the very least. And I think now I'm going to be trying a different AR with my sniper. So if you want more details, go listen to the goddamn episode. But anyways, it's live now, and we'll have more, as always. Next announcement, send me hats. Okay?
Got it.
I got a haircut, but I'm going to go too long before my next one, and my hair will be a disaster for a number of weeks at a time once my hair grows back. And I'm a incredibly virile young man, and my hair grows very quickly. Thick, full head of hair, beautiful hairline, unlike Tanner, balding. Malding, in fact. Mad and balding. He's malding.
You'd be malding too if you played as much Warzone as I do.
Well,
8 hours a day.
Yeah, well, we'll edit that out because that's, of course, fake news. Okay. But I need hats. I need more hats. I only have 2 hats. I have a beautiful hat from D-Rock of Twisted Barrel Pizza, wood-fired pizza, in fact, in the great state of... It's not a great state, I'm not going to lie. It's a state, Minnesota, right? Yeah. Or fucking Canada or Nova Scotia, whatever dog shit.
I think it's Canada. Yeah, I think he's in Canada.
Too far north state he lives in.
Was it minus 30 today?
Probably. There is no joy to experience there other than delicious hot food. Now, the pizzas probably don't stay hot very long because it is negative 30, but they're hot when they come out, and you should patronize this establishment. But anyways, he sent a hat. So that's a hat I have, but I need more. And we need more shit at the P.O. Box in general. So send us some goddamn items and let us know in Discord if you do, so we can go. And then we do openings. We would do an opening on a podcast if anyone sent us anything ever. So figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, they don't.
I could use snacks, beer, liquor, cash, always, obviously, and hats. 6 7/8 inches. To 7 3/8 inches is my size. I've figured out, because that's the size D-Rock sent, and it fit swimmingly. So send us some fucking hats, please. What would you like in your P.O. box, Tanner?
Anything. I mean, I'm just depressed at this point. We haven't got anything in the P.O. box in probably 6 months. I don't know. It's embarrassing.
It's been far too long.
Started off great. We used to get too many deliveries. I used to go to the P.O. box every fucking day. Now I'm lucky if I check it every 3 months and there's an item in there. Usually it's just, hey, the last thing we got was the United States Postal Service telling us that P.O. box was expiring and to renew it. That was the last thing we got. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, guys. Fuck you.
Absolutely fuck you, yeah. So
send us a trash,
and it's dog shit. So send us items. Thanks. And if you want to know how to find the P.O. box address, if you're here live, you can type !P.O. box. It is also, I believe, in this video description or show notes of every episode in the links, and it's also in Discord. Now, speaking of Discord, join the fucking Discord, because now we are using a new fun and exciting feature, which I'm probably more excited about than I should be, but I think it's really cool. There's like an events channel in our Discord, and we're going to start using it now. We're using it now at this exact time, in fact. So on Mondays, we draft, we schedule everything, and then we make a little image and we pin that to our Twitter at the Dropshot Pod. Follow it. And we're also going to be mirroring that schedule every week in Discord. So if you're in our Discord, keep an eye on that little events thing. It'll show when we're doing the podcast, what the topics will be, and when we're doing gameplay streams, and what we're doing. And it'll also have like a link to our shit. But like, I don't know, if you have Discord open always like I do, keep an eye on the events thing because it's going to be always updated. And if we're actually doing something, it'll say like live. So be in the Discord. It's an extremely good resource. It's the best way we can communicate with you guys. And we're pretty active on there as well. So I don't know. You could just bullshit around with us. But that we're using that events feature now. And I think it's really fucking cool. You're not as excited about the events feature as me, are you, Tanner?
I'm just kind of disappointed in you because the very first event we set up, Raz was late, 30 minutes late. So everyone's like, oh, it says they're live, but they're not actually live. This is crazy. Well, cancel your haircut. Wear a hat.
My haircut, huh? I couldn't.
Cancel that sucker.
My hair was a disaster. I couldn't do it.
You should. Yeah, well, your barber should be killed for being late once.
Of course, yeah. That is, of course, true. By the way, if you're new, you can skip all this. There's timestamps. I should have mentioned that. You shouldn't, but you can.
But you can,
so,
yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Yeah. Okay, and then last announcement from me. We're going to revitalize, on a trial basis, the YouTube Dropshot Clips playlist. And what this is, for now, is we're going to be editing out little segments of full episodes and posting them as their own video. So if we talk about 20 things on an episode, we'll clip out one particular section, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, and put that on the YouTube. Now, if you listen to the podcast, you probably don't really care about this that much because you've already listened to the clip because you listened to the episode, and that's fine. But a couple of things. Boopsy, friend of the pod, is doing this right now. He's making clips, he's making thumbnails, he's writing descriptions, he's doing it all. And he's paying us for the privilege of doing these, by the way. So,
yeah.
If you have some free time, go check those out and give us some critiques on everything. The thumbnail, the fucking everything, every aspect of it. Let us know if they can be improved upon. Or just let Boopsy know in Discord. Because we could use feedback on that. The purpose of clips like this is not for you guys, obviously. It is for your dumb fucking friends. Because, let me be clear. You all have friends. Well, most of you don't have friends, actually.
Yeah, none of you do.
If you do have a friend who also plays Call of Duty, you may have experienced this. Hey, Johnny, I listened to this podcast about Call of Duty, this game we're both playing right now, called The Dropshot. You should listen to it. And Johnny says, cool, man. Let me take a look. And then he looks at our latest episode, and it's 3 hours and 42 minutes long. And he says, oh, I'm not listening to this. That's too long. And you know what? Johnny's right. Because when people recommend movies to me that I've never heard of, guess what I'm not doing? Dedicating 2 hours of my life based on a recommendation from some degenerate, alcoholic, gambling addicted, drug-addled asshole like you. Recommend something. Especially that's going to take up that much of my time. I get it. Johnny's right and you're wrong. But now, with the Dropshot clips, you can say, hey, look, I get it, Johnny. You don't want to listen to a full episode, and that's fine. That's too much of an imposition on your time. But instead, why don't you watch this one little 5-minute clip? You can spare 5 minutes. And then if you like it, then maybe I'll entice you to listen to the full goddamn episode or something. That is the purpose of the clips. Number one is for clickbait, obviously, get new people listening. But number two, you guys can share it with your stupid friends and make them listen to the podcast. So start using the goddamn clips. These are for sharing. Sharing is, in fact, caring. And I know many of you don't care about your friends. That's why you don't have many. But maybe now you can turn a new leaf and actually spread some joy in the world. Because nothing brings joy like the Dropshot of Call of Duty podcast. It's that simple. So the clips are back. We've got one up now. Boopsy will hopefully maybe be making more. Depends how much money he has to, again, continue paying us for the privilege of making these clips. But we did one so far. He did a serviceable job. And it's up, and share it with your goddamn friends. Let's in fact go take a look. How many views do you think that clip has, Tanner?
4.
4? Yeah, I think that's
I didn't know
right.
It was up.
Yeah, that sucker's up. Yeah. Well, you're a fake fan, so that's correct. What do you have to add on these Dropshot clips?
I haven't watched it, so I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched it yet.
Got it, and sick.
I like the thumbnail. It looks good.
Yeah, the thumbnail's good. Yep.
It's got a good title. Yeah, it'll be good. Maybe I'll take a listen sometime after the pod. That'd be good.
Yeah, well, you won't, but that's fine. Yeah, so it has 60 views, and it was uploaded 21 hours ago. That's unacceptable, obviously.
That's embarrassing. We should delete it.
But
Want to just delete it?
We should ban Boopsy from Discord, yeah. He needs to guarantee us 1,000 views per day. Anyways,
yeah,
we got clips now. We bringing them back. We hope you guys enjoy and share them with your friends. They're a good resource. That's like literally half the reason we're doing this, in all seriousness. And then the other half is so that people on the algorithm get recommended a shorter video that they actually watch. Maybe they start listening.
Yeah.
Other than that, Tanner, any announcements from you?
Oh yeah, thanks Tootsie Sproles. Cool, for the offline sub. Appreciate it.
Ooh, little Tootsie Sproles, huh?
Yeah,
wow.
Thanks, man.
That's crazy.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, well, thanks for not subbing to me, and fuck you, Tootsie Sproles. If you were listening for the
You probably
jingle,
did. You just don't ever look at your notifications.
I looked at my
because you're trash.
I looked at them. I keep that thing. I keep them eyes on that thing.
Offline followed, then immediately subbed. He probably doesn't even follow you because you're trash.
Yeah. By the way, I think I'm gonna just write something down. Never mind. Okay. All right, there. It's fine. Okay. All right. So, as I said, today we're going through the Warzone patch notes. I've skimmed these, as has Tanner, and a lot of this stuff we've already, in fact, talked about, kind of. We did a very, very long, very good award-winning, in fact, episode for episode 205. And a lot of what was talked about there is obviously going to be mentioned in these patch notes as well. So we might be going over some things again. But this is going to be more about getting into the weeds, getting into the details, and really dissecting these patch notes. So we're going to go through these kind of live, and as needed, point some things out, discuss them, talk about whether or not they are a good change. This is going to be a little different because unlike most times we cover Warzone patch notes, we're covering these after having played with this patch. Normally, when we get patch notes for Warzone, we cover the notes before we even play for a lick. But this time we've played some, so that'll be maybe a little different, but I don't think it's going to be that much different. So let's get into it. We've got the patch notes here, courtesy of Raven Software. And then Tanner, if I miss anything or skip over anything that you want to point out, obviously just interrupt me and let me know. So
yeah, okay.
A lot to go through here. Season 2 lands with new content and quality of life improvements across the board. So this is mostly shit we've talked about. Nebula 5 ammo, the Nebula 5 bomb, the portable decontamination station, bomber planes, the new POI, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to go down let's start here. Events. Search and deploy. I don't think we've talked about this yet. The source of Nebula 5 production has been identified. Operators may infiltrate at their own risk. This event is split into several phases that will roll out over the coming weeks. With launch, players can expect to see the new Caldera Clash limited time mode. This was very similar to what we had seen on Verdansk. I don't remember what it was called, but it was, and I think there were a couple different iterations, but it was basically TDM on Caldera with two giant teams. So one of them was like Overwatch payload, where it was like, I don't know, 50 versus 50 or some shit like that. And you would try to like escort a payload, like a train, through some part of Verdansk by a train station, as a matter of fact. This is similar to that. It's kind of a dog shit LTM that I'm never going to suffer through, nor should you, but this is the first part of this dumb search and deploy event. Did you ever play that event, Tanner, on Verdansk?
So I'm pretty sure actually this was like the one good LTM that they put into Verdansk. Isn't this the one where you can pick up like the bonuses and it gives you like faster movement speed?
Yes.
Okay, that was like the only fun LTM I ever played actually. This I think is really, really good for leveling up guns because this is way more fun and you get more kills than playing Plunder. This is actually when I want to level up guns next, I'm probably going to play this mode. I thought this was really fun and a really good idea when it was added to Verdansk. Better than all the other shit they add in. So
that is true. As far
if you don't want to,
yeah.
But if you like don't want to play like Vanguard, pretty much, I would say this would be another fun thing to do because, like I said, Plunder's just boring, you know.
Yeah, Plunder's terrible, and you have to like look for people.
Yeah. This is like a small area.
I'm also unclear, by the way. On Verdansk, if you wanted to level guns in Plunder, the strat was there was an unspoken agreement between all Warzone players that, oh my god, what's it called? What's the place called? South of Airport. Storage Town.
Storage.
Was the unofficial, like, I'm going to level guns and we're all going to kill each other spot. But still, you had to look around a bit, take some time. If this Caldera Clash mode is anything like the Verdansk one, which it will be faster to level weapons this way, 100%. The players who play this are usually terrible, and it's way more densely populated. Way more people per square foot, so you can level guns as quickly as possible in this mode. That is a good point. That is something that should be mentioned. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so next bullet point for the search and deploy event: explorable POIs, including the chemical factory and various underground chemical weapon research labs. I don't know why they put this as part of the event, because these aren't going to go away, as far as I know, right? I don't know why this is part of the event.
Yeah, I guess because they're just being introduced. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, none of this is related to the event. Enemy AI threats defending the new POIs. I could see them getting rid of those, but keeping the new POI once this event is over. Maybe. It's unclear if that's the case. Doesn't matter because they're terrible anyway. New gameplay elements, including the PDS and Nebula 5 rounds. I could see those going away and much more to come. So not much there. So there's some details on Caldera Clash. The new 2 teams, 48 operators in a death match with wild events and power-ups. Operators drop in with their custom loadout, which can have any weapon from all 3 chapters and a field upgrade. Blah, blah, blah. Mode features double point zones, bonus point crates. I don't know. A bunch of shit. There's power-ups, contracts, buy stations, domination capture, 6 hand-chosen POIs where the arena of Clash will take place within Caldera. So it's not going to be like on the entire map. It's going to be like a pretty small area of Caldera where this is happening. And then that's that. Rebirth Iron Trials in season. We've talked about this. It's going to be on Rebirth Island. It's going to be duos. And it will be a BR mode. So there's going to be circles, circle closing, whatever. This will be going live on March 3rd. And you get the brand new calling card, a brand new calling card as well. So the last time there was Iron Trials in the video game, there was a calling card you could get if you won. Tanner and I queued for that mode. And guess what happened? First game on, we win. Get the calling card. Calling card, actually. Fucking calling card secured, baby. And it was that simple. Do you anticipate we're going to secure the calling card on Rebirth Island Iron Trials?
No. No shot.
That's the thing I'm worried about,
Island
too.
Iron Trials duos sounds like the worst combination they could have possibly made.
And with how sweaty Rebirth is, dude, our lobbies would be literal 1.6 average KD, like every game.
Yep.
It would be so
with
sweaty.
That amount of people.
Yeah.
I also really think we had a better chance on Verdansk because the longer range gunfights, we'll lose most of the short range gunfights on Rebirth. So
because we have an inferior dumb input method, yeah.
So I don't even know if I'll play that mode, to be honest. It does not sound fun to me whatsoever, but we'll see.
It sounds like a fucking disaster, yeah, but I think we'll probably play it if anything to give you guys a little our impressions on it.
But I just hope we play it and win it so I don't have to queue for it again, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just calling card secure and then just yeet ourselves back into Caldera.
Do we know what the calling card was last time? Will I ever be able to find it? Of course not.
No.
Don't know what it looks like. It has no title. It doesn't tell me why I earned it. Thanks Infinity Ward for adding that in into the barracks, into the customization in your shit game in 2019. Yep. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's just another of the thousands of calling cards we already have for no discernible reason. Yeah, so
no idea how I got any of them. Yeah, thanks.
Anyway, that's coming on March 3rd. So that's still a ways away, 2 weeks or so, but there you go. Caldera Resurgence, don't care. BR adjustments. Okay, now we're getting into some interesting shit. We're stripping Battle Royale down and moving back to basics for Season 2. We want BR and Vanguard Royale to each have their own distinct identities. To achieve this, we are focusing in on what makes these rule sets unique. The tools we provide our players, the pacing, the objectives, etc. Excuse me. Here's an overview of the changes players can expect to see. Public events. The public events that will be in rotation for selection are supply choppers, which don't matter, fire sale, which matters, jailbreak, which matters. No public events will activate during the infill sequence. I don't know what that means. So there's no events right away? Has there ever been a fire sale before I jump out of the plane? Why mention this?
No public events will activate during the infill sequence?
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't know.
Has a game ever started with a fucking jailbreak before? Like, I don't... Anyway, cool, Raven, whatever. So, I don't... Okay, that's fine. Contracts. The contracts that will be in rotation during matches are Recon, Bounty, Most Wanted, Scavenger, Supply Run. Okay. So, for regular BR, in other words, here are the contracts. Recon, Bounty, Most Wanted, Scav, Supply Run. What's missing from that?
The best contract there was.
Crate, Weapon Crate, and Most Valuable Bounty or whatever the fuck. Oops. Oopsies. What are your thoughts on this, Tanner? First of all, my question is this only going to be for Season 2? Or this is forever going forward? That's the impression I get, that this is just in perpetuity. These are the only contracts now in regular BR.
Yeah.
Is that the impression you're getting?
That's what it certainly seems like, yeah. So it's the only one I care about is that big game bounties are gone. We've talked about a lot how good these are, but they were pretty overpowered. I think they could have essentially made it so instead of getting an advanced UAV, if you kill your bounty, that you just get a regular UAV. Maybe it just automatically pops regular. I think that would have made it perfectly balanced, because it was pretty damn easy. Because if you pick up a big game bounty, they were all over the map. when big game bounties spawn in whatever it was, the third circle or something, there was more big game bounties on the map immediately when they spawn in than there are regular bounties the entire round of Battle Royale. It was insane. You couldn't go 200 meters in any direction without seeing a big game bounty. So we pick them up every possible chance, just constant UAVs. Of course, you chase the team immediately because you know you're getting an advanced UAV, and then you know where everyone on the map is at. So they were pretty busted. I did like it though, because it made you move your character a lot, because it really got you pushing, made you play more aggressive. I thought they were really fun, but I can definitely see why they're being removed. But also, it's like, it's a big game bounty. It's not like it's a random bounty and you're chasing the worst team in the lobby. It's like you're chasing the team that hasn't had a big game bounty on them, and they have the most amount of kills.
Yes, exactly.
So it's like, it's not that unfair. You should get a reward for chasing the best team, but whatever. Maybe they saw people weren't picking these up even. I don't know. Maybe more casual players were kind of scared to grab them. I'm not sure why these would be taken out. They didn't explain it. I haven't seen anyone talking about this, surprisingly. So I don't know. I'm a little upset by it, but it is what it is.
It's one of those things that doesn't seem like it belongs more in Vanguard Royale than regular BR. If anything, regular BR is the more competitive of the two playlists because it doesn't have restrictions on what types of guns you can use. So if you wanted to have a big game bounty, that seems like the type of contract that should be in your most competitive mode. So if anything,
yes,
remove it from Vanguard Royale, not regular BR. But I do agree with you. Getting an advanced UAV for it was probably too good. I think that was probably overpowered. And I think your solution, just get a regular UAV automatically, would have been the perfect solution. Because for killing the best team in the lobby, you should get an additional reward above and beyond just a cash reward like for a regular bounty. But an advanced UAV is too good. So I think just a called in regular ass UAV, that's $6,000, and you don't have to go to a buy station to do it. I think that's a sufficient reward without being OP, and I think that would have been the optimal solution. I think if you're going to take big game bounties out of either playlist, you should also make this change either way, because now big game bounties are still overpowered, but they're just in regular they're just in Vanguard Royale now, but they still need to be addressed. I think that's true. So ideally, what I would have liked to have seen is keep these in regular BR, but nerf them so you get the regular bounty pop instead of the advance when you get the call.
Wait, are these still in Vanguard Royale?
It looks that way. Yeah. We'll get into it. Because in the Vanguard Royale adjustments, they don't mention contracts at all, which implies they're not changing them, which implies they're still in. Because they're currently in before the change. So I think they are still in Vanguard Royale. So that's what I would have liked to have seen. Now, another problem that's happening as a result of this is something we just said on our last Patreon episode, patreon.com/thedropshot. 7 bonus episodes a month. A steal. Best way to support the show. Don't listen to the episodes, I don't care. Just please join. We're begging you. We're poor. Patreon.com/thedropshot. On our last episode, we mentioned, which is now live, that what I think happened when they introduced big game bounties to Warzone was that they lowered the density of regular bounty contracts on the map because they were compensating for the addition of a new type of bounty contract. So basically, let's say of all contracts in Verdansk, bounties were 30% of all contracts on the map. When Caldera came out and they introduced big game bounties, they said, okay, now that we have a new type of bounty, we're going to take the regular bounty and downscale the proportion of all contracts to 10%. This is to account for adding in big game bounties, which are also going to be whatever, 10, 20%, so that the number of bounties of any type is about the same as it used to be before we introduced this new contract. I guarantee you that's what happened, because I noticed this and we talked about it immediately in Caldera, Before big game bounties are accessible, there were no bounties on the map. There was fucking one. So they absolutely lowered the number of bounties. Did they mention this in a patch note? Of course they didn't. But it's obvious. It's immediately obvious to anyone who gets bounties and has played Warzone since Caldera came out.
Yeah.
But they accounted for this again with the addition of the big game bounties. It was annoying early game when you wanted to pick one up, but after the big games were available, it was fine. Whatever. But now they've taken out big game bounties. And they forgot to increase the proportion of regular bounties again to account for this. So now you'll notice if you play regular BR, there are no big game bounties, and there are still barely any regular bounties. And this is really cringe and annoying and awful. And it makes me deeply upset. Tanner and I were playing yesterday, and we were in, what, third circle? Fourth circle, maybe? Mm-hmm. I'm not kidding. There was one bounty on the entire map.
Oh, yeah. It was like 800 meters away from where we were, 900, something like that.
That literally happened 0 times ever on Verdansk. A map that was still as big as it was, with as many contracts as there were, only one bounty. That literally never happened on Verdansk. So I'm very annoyed at this, and it's really frustrating to me, because once we have loadout and a UAV, the only thing now to do is to get a goddamn bounty. That's how we play Warzone. That's how a lot of people, I imagine, play Warzone. And they have not increased the proportion of bounties, and they really need to. I think they just forgot to do it. What are your thoughts on this? Is this a
black helicopters,
or do you think there's something to it, Tanner?
No, yeah, we've talked about that. They definitely nerfed the spawn rate of bounties to take into account the big game bounties, and now they're gone. So now there's way too few bounties, and it's boring. Yeah, you pretty much said it all. I don't like it. I would love the bounty rate to probably be about doubled what it is. Not sure we'll ever see that change though.
Do you think? So, do you see? You're very active on Twitter. Do you see anyone complaining about this yet?
No one's ever complained about it.
It's
actually,
weird,
I think
right?
Early on in Caldera, people did say, "Damn, it seemed like there's like less bounties than there used to be."
Oh, okay.
But I haven't seen anything about it lately.
Yeah, it's annoying. I hope these Twitch streamers start fucking realizing there's no bounties on their screen.
I don't watch most of them anymore. I'm not really sure what they usually do.
Yeah.
Because it's just like in Verdansk, you just be driving. It's like, oh, there's a bounty next to us in the building. Someone grab that just to grab it. But now it's like, okay, we're driving. Someone look for a bounty. And then it's like, oh, I just marked it. It's 1,100 meters away. Cool. Then you start driving there. You're about 200 meters out and someone else grabs it. Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. So yeah, they took out the supply drops and the like weapon crates as well, which I'm fine with. I don't care about that. But taking out the big game bounties is really unfortunate. So nonetheless, there you go. I do also kind of agree. I kind of like how they want to further differentiate Vanguard Royale from regular BR. I think that's probably fine. But then it gets weird, because if you're going to have no regular BR for an entire week and only Vanguard Royale, if Vanguard Royale is too different, then people are going to be just really mad for a week or not play for a week. Because there will come a point where Vanguard Royale, or there can come a point where Vanguard Royale is so different from regular BR that someone could be a fan of regular BR and hate Vanguard Royale. And then when they do these playlist updates where they fucking remove regular BR altogether for a week, those people just won't play for a week. So they got to worry about that too. I understand why they want to differentiate them, but if you're going to do that, either always have both available or don't differentiate them too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Plus, they just add too much shit into Vanguard Royale. It's just I don't care if I only have quads for a week in regular BR. That's what I'm going to do. We'll just random fill. That's what we did this morning. I played 2 games. It was only me and Cope on, so we random filled. I would much rather do that and lose every game than play Vanguard Royale once.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Yeah, for sure. So, anyways, moving on here. Loot as well for regular BR has been adjusted. Economy rebalance and ground weapons update. Okay. So economy rebalance means there's no money on the map. How do you like this economy rebalance, Tanner? How are you liking the economy rebalance?
Too little money. Needs to be more. It's like impossible to regain right now. If you're like, this happens so many. It was so annoying playing. I guess it was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When we were streaming, like every single time, I swear to God, the first 2 people on our team that would go to the gulag would lose the gulag every fucking time. And so there's 2 of us left with 2,000 combined dollars. Didn't have money for a loadout, so then we have to search all around, buy people back, finally get our loadout, go to the loadout, get shot by someone trying to get our guns. It's so annoying. So we need a money buff, I think, pretty badly.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It just went from being way too much on the map to just entirely too little. I mean, if I had better teammates, I knew how to win the... I don't know how you lose the gulag. Stop losing.
Got it.
99% win ratio. Just win the gulag, man. It's so easy. So it makes it hard to regain, and it leads to some annoying games when that happens because you're just constantly searching for money and you don't find any.
Regaining was very difficult. Every single regain was like tooth and nail clawing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Clawing.
there was one time I was the only one alive, and it took actually like 4 minutes to get everyone. You remember that? I was like in the quad.
Yep.
I went to ruins. Oh, it's looted. Went to lagoon. It's looted. Like it took forever. So it seems to me that this economy rebalance, what they've done is they've basically, the average dollars per crate on Caldera is now like equal to the average dollars per crate on Verdansk. And you might think that's fine because the dollars looting on Verdansk was about perfect. You didn't get too much money, so everyone had self, but you didn't get too little money so that you never got loadout. So if it looks like Verdansk, money per crate, then that's great. The problem is there are fewer crates on Caldera because there are 90% fewer buildings. So what they need to do is like, if there are 50% fewer crates on Caldera, then there needs to be, on average, 50% more money per crate on Caldera. But what they've done is they've just made it exactly the same. But if there are fewer crates for me to open because there's no buildings, then you need to give us more money per crate because it's taking too long. Even when we wouldn't die off rip, it was taking quite a while to get a loadout.
Yeah.
Like you could drop at a POI and actually not have enough.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
easily.
In quads, too. This was in quads. So I can only imagine in duos or trios. Or solos, God forbid, how fucking long it would take to get a loadout or something. It's a disaster. So the one thing this does is really incentivizes contracts more, which particularly scavs. And again, we talked about this on our last Patreon episode at patreon.com/thedropshot, which might be good. I mean, you might want to get people doing contracts more because that forces people to move around the map more. But there's a balance to be stricken here, and they've missed the mark so far. The economy needs to be, we need some stimulus checks. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, give me those Biden bucks.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, that's one thing. And then ground weapons update, ground loot. I didn't really think much about the ground loot, to be honest. I think
it seemed fine. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I would care if I couldn't buy a loadout for 7 minutes, but now that I can and I'm not caring as much about the ground loot guns, they're fine.
Yeah.
There's some nice well guns. There's a nice...
The KG.
I think there's a decent Car 98 build, like that has pretty fast ADS actually.
Okay.
So that's cute.
The
a lot of the new guns, which are good to use, level them up a few times easily that way. Just pick them up, get a few kills. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I don't know if there's any shotguns in the ground loot. There's the Einhorn. The Einhorn is in the ground loot right now.
I want to say there's like combat still.
Oh, there is a combat shotgun too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that as well. Yeah. But yeah, the ground loot's, I don't know. It's fine. I didn't get mauled by it. There's not too much complete trash, so. I think the ground loot in general since Caldera has come out has been better. Because one thing that was like, when we had really bad ground loot on Verdansk, what that usually meant is there was a really high proportion of semi-auto or like bolt action weapons on the ground. So like automatic weapons were like too rare. That's what like bad ground loot meant a lot of the time on Verdansk, and there's like always automatic weapons now, so that's ultimately good. So there you go. All right, next, Vanguard Royale adjustments. We've been really happy with the response and feedback to Vanguard Royale, blah, 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 with a lot of the sentiment emphasizing how the mode feels fresh and different from the core BR experience, which I think is true. It feels different, very different for sure.
Yeah.
So that's something. With that
Not
said,
good, different though.
With that said, we want to go all in on these differentiators and spread the two modes out to offer more variety in how players choose to experience Warzone. Loadout drops. Expedited the first loadout drop event from the start of the second circle to when the first circle begins to close in Vanguard Royale only. No stun grenades in loadouts, and thermites are now allowed in loadouts. Interesting. What are your thoughts on expediting the first loadout drop? Why would they do that?
Well, that's the thing they already announced they were doing. That's because in regular BR, we can buy one off drop now, but in this, they just removed the timer and made it to the beginning of the first circle. Yeah,
I see.
This is what we already talked about like a few weeks ago. So you can just buy a loadout earlier now too, because when that loadout drop event happens is when you can buy one.
I understand. Okay, that makes sense then.
So
yeah, that's a good change. That's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
The no stuns is good, I guess. And then thermites should have been allowed from the start, so I'm glad those are in as well now.
Yeah, thermites are in regular multi, so yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm fine with that. The duration of fire sale has been reduced. Fire sale is now in the rotation. Jailbreak, resurgence, restock, cash drops, and heavy weapon drops. And then loot. Dead silence removed from ground loot. Stun removed from ground loot. Thermites added. UAVs added to ground loot. Another economy rebalance. I'm assuming that means less money here as well. And then ground loot changes as well. UAV changes. We've talked about all of that, so we're just going to move on here. UAV changes. UAVs have been removed from the buy station, but they are available as contract rewards. That's odd.
A lot of people malding about that.
Yeah. Why would they do that, you think?
No idea. I guess, like they said, trying to make it feel different than regular BR, so I don't know. All of these Vanguard Royale changes just kind of makes me feel like they're trying to make it the more casual mode, and then just regular BR the more competitive mode. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like the change at all. I think it's weird.
You know, another thing this will do too is get people off Ghost more. If you can't buy a UAV and you can only get one from ground loot or contracts, I'm not running Ghost on my loadout in Vanguard Royale. Are you?
I don't run Ghost anyways anymore, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I've ran Ghost like once since Caldera drop. I just keep running Restock. It's fun.
Yeah, I've been running High Alert. We should have mentioned that on our brainstorm. We'll have to do that again. We'll have to go back to Red Perks.
There's a lot of people running High Alert right now, it seems. Yeah.
Yeah. A map so open like this, it's really useful. It's really handy. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. We don't care too much about Vanguard Royale, to be honest, but a lot of this seems kind of just odd. It's certainly going to feel a lot different than regular BR now, though. So if that's what they were looking for, I mean, mission accomplished, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, next. They talk about the map, the chemical factory, and the underground chemical research labs. We've already talked about this. The chemical factory is cool. The underground weapon research labs are basically like the bunkers. This, again, we talked about on the last Patreon episode at patreon.com/thedropshot. 7 bonus episodes a month. Best way to support the show. And we'll get more into kind of how we like all this stuff on Thursday when we do our first impressions episode. So we're not going to go too much into our opinions on this stuff right now. That'll be next time. But yeah, we've already talked basically all about those. Here are some other changes across the entire game. An increase has been applied to weapon XP earn rates. That's really good to see. Vanguard weapons can be saved as a custom mod in loadouts. About fucking time, but good to see. And it does work. The 5 default loadouts have been updated. Okay, don't use.
I forgot those
loadouts. Existed. Yeah. And the amount of cash players gather through loot has decreased overall. We've noticed. So cool. Yeah. Cool, man. The redeploy balloon they've added. We talked about that. It works well. We'll give again our first impressions at another time, but those work. The NPCs, the portable decontamination station. We've picked that up 80 times and used it 0, by the way. So as I said, it's either going to be like broken and dumb, or it's going to be literally completely ineffectual and I won't even notice it's in the game. I wouldn't know it's in the game if I didn't pick it up and they didn't tell me. That's how uninteresting and waste of time that was. So
I saw one cool play with it yesterday, but it's like the amount of times that's going to happen is just very, very low. I think it was it shaded? I don't know. I think it was one of OP Mark's friends, but it's like they threw one down when they were trying to run through the gas, got a res off, kept running.
Okay, yeah.
When another person went down, they had one more, they threw it, resed him, and then they also had stims. Like they were deep in the gas and they were able to get to a redeploy balloon and hit that sucker, and he got out of it just in time. So it did technically save them there, but it's like they had obviously like shit positioning anyways, that they were so deep into the gas. Probably, I don't know what happened, or they were just trying to test these or something. They were trying to mess around. I don't know, but it's like, it's realistically, it's not going to save you that often. I don't think. It's just kind of a gimmick.
Yeah, it does seem gimmicky. It seems like you'd have to go out of your way to like use it. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. So cool. Nebula 5 rounds, armored convoys in season. So yeah, these are not in yet. We were looking for them, but then we realized they're not in the game yet. So we've already talked about those. And then the Nebula 5 bombs are neither in the game as well, or not in the game either. Currently, they will be in season. Bomber planes, we talked about that. Let's see. Dead Silence is now classified as legendary orange loot. So you might be thinking, who cares what color it is? However, I don't know if I saw a Deady once yesterday in 3 hours.
I died to it yesterday.
Oh,
I think
really?
Twice. For sure once, I think I died to it twice. Because I had thought that immediately. I'm like, okay, cool. Dead Silence is still just on the map. It doesn't matter.
Did you get any yourself?
I got one, I think. I think it was on someone that I killed, though. I didn't find it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm seeing fewer Dead Silences. I think I died to it once yesterday. I didn't get a kill cam, but I didn't hear the guy at all.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're making it legendary is really just another way of saying they're lowering the odds that it spawns. So there's less Deady in the game. That's good. It's a step in the right direction. Move it to the it doesn't exist category of loot for sure.
I kind of think that's where we're headed, and I hope we are, because this is what they did with stopping power too. They changed it to this, and then eventually
it was gone. Yeah,
it was just gone. So I think we're on that path, but I'm sure it'll still be in the game for probably a couple months or something.
Yeah,
but there's also far less people that have been bitching about Deady since Caldera, anyways. So maybe it will just stay in, because it isn't as important as it was in Verdansk, because you would just pop it at the bottom of the building, run up the stairs, they couldn't hear anything. But it's like now the engagements are so much longer distances typically, it's not as important. But
yeah,
if people don't complain about it as much, we probably won't see it removed.
That's true. That's for sure true. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you guys all know our thoughts on Dead Silence. We've been talking about this for a year plus. Take it out of the fucking game. But if it's more rare now, good. I'll take it. So next here, let's see.
Oops.
A lot of
the final circle in BR modes is much less likely to end on Caldera's peak. We didn't have any ending directly on peak, but we had like 4 fucking games where like in like the 3rd or 4th circle, when it was already pretty damn small, half of it was still on peak.
I know.
So I don't know. It wasn't ending up there, but we still had to run up peak constantly.
If anything, and you know what? If anything, I'd rather have a circle end on peak than on the side of it where there's literally no cover.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know. So we'll see how that continues to play out. But yeah, something.
Even this morning when I was playing with Cope, I played 2 games. One of those games, it was that same thing. Like half of it, when the circle was the size it was, like half of it was peak still. So cool. Yeah, I'm sure it didn't. We died, but I'm sure it didn't end up there. But I still had to run all around peak.
Yeah, I know.
So fake news.
Fake news indeed. So some gameplay adjustments. We've talked about most of this. Let's see. Players are now less likely to accidentally pick up gasoline canisters. That's nice, actually. Kill damage zone is reduced with the addition of fall-off damage. That's good, too. Gulag. Footsteps of spectators are less audible. Further improvements will be made here into the season. That's good. Take spectators out of the gulag, obviously.
I never noticed spectator footsteps, so I think this is actually a lot better now, because I didn't even think about it. I just never heard any.
Yeah. I didn't think about it either, so yeah, that's good. Because they were extremely loud in this gulag in particular, so that's something. Let's see. Oh, shit.
I don't know if we covered the specifics on the gas mask. I think they just said they would no longer interrupt ADS. I don't think we covered the actual specifics because I didn't know this. So basically when you're ADS, that won't auto equip them. But so if you're ADS'd in the gas, you're still going to take damage, obviously, because the gas mask isn't on. But it's also weird because it's also still destroying the gas mask. So even if it's not on your face protecting you, the gas mask itself is taking damage if you're in the gas. So that's kind of something weird that I guess I didn't expect it to work that way. I figured it would be fine until you put it on. But so that kind of, I guess, prevents people from sitting in the gas as long as possible too, if it's actually depleting with it. But that was kind of interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of makes sense because, like, if a gas mask is on the ground, once it gets in the gas, it starts taking damage and like hopping. So
yeah, it makes sense. I just didn't think it'd be that way. I guess
I didn't think about it either, but you're right. Yeah, but that's kind of fine. I'm still happy with this change overall for sure. Yeah. Parachutes are now the same speed going forward as going sideways, as it was going sideways. So I don't know if that makes them faster or slower. I think that makes them slower.
Wait, speed. Yeah, maybe it is slower then.
I think
because sideways you could go
now.
further, but I think it was a little bit slower. So yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't, regardless, it doesn't seem any slower really. I've just been going forward and haven't thought about it, and it seems fine. So I don't know.
Yeah. So, and then they can now be pulled at a lower vertical height, which we've covered. Can now be cut when closer to the ground. So that was one of my questions. That answers that. That's good to hear. Can now be pulled sooner after exiting the infill plane. That doesn't really matter. But yeah, cool. Good changes. I'll take them. Let's see. Squad transport. This is like a Vanguard vehicle. Improved handling speed and off-road performance. Utility truck, improved speed handling and able to climb steeper inclines. That's good. Changes to all of those Vanguard vehicles need to be made, so that's a step in the right direction. Let's see here. The moving tram in the capital is now shown on the TAC map for situational awareness. That's pretty cool.
I'd never noticed before it wasn't on the TAC map.
I didn't
but
either.
It's because there's no reason to go. No one lands capital, so we don't land there anymore either.
Yeah. And then a lot of bug fixes here.
They fixed a lot of crashing issues supposedly on console, but I'm still hearing there's a lot of people having issues with their consoles just crashing and freezing. So it sounds like those still aren't fixed, which is weird because they added content in. Thought those issues would be fixed before they added the content. I don't know.
They said they were going to focus on making the game stable before implementing new features. It's super interesting that that's not what's happening. Yeah. Who would have
They had
thought?
to make money, though, so they had to drop the battle pass.
Got to get them bundles on there. Get them things selling, dude. Yeah, anyway. So, a lot of bug fixes. We're not going to read those because they probably
a lot of just
aren't
weird
real.
things we didn't know, though. Like fix an issue preventing the Sten from exhibiting its intended recoil behavior. It's like, so what does that even mean? Does that mean it has less recoil now? More? It's just like, how many of these little bugs are there that we didn't even know about?
I know. How many are there still? You know?
Yeah, it's probably more now, really.
Yeah, actually. So
one of the the barrels for the BAR incorrectly increasing damage to the head and decreasing damage to the body.
Ooh.
Like, huh?
That barrel's probably better now.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the barrel that's supposed to give you more headshot damage and less body, and maybe it was giving not enough headshot damage or too little. I don't know, but it's just, a bunch of weird bugs like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, a lot of bug fixes, supposedly. We're not going to go through those. New weapons, KG-M40 assault rifle and the Whitley light machine gun. So I've used the ground loot of these. I have not used a loadout version of these. I'm leveling my KG-M40 right now. I will be trying that. I'm probably going to run it today, in fact.
Yeah?
Have not really used the Whitley, but a loadout one of either, rather. But I have used them both ground loot. Tanner, what are your thoughts on the KG-M40, both if you've used it yourself, if you've seen other people using it, if you've seen loadout setups for it, buzz about it?
All I've used is the ground loot on it. I started leveling it in Vanguard yesterday, but I haven't used a custom loadout with it. I think I got it's level 20 or something, and Vanguard was super sweaty yesterday, some of the sweatiest games I've ever had, so I don't know what was going on there, so I rage quit, of course. Naturally, what else am I going to do? Keep playing through that? No. But the gun in Warzone seemed, I don't know, fine. It kind of just seems like it's middle ground. I think from what people were saying, low recoil, but not a very good time to kill, so not overpowered. That's the thing I care about. It definitely doesn't seem like it's going to be, busted like a Bren is or was for a while or anything, so... The ground loot's fine, though. I pick it up just to level it up. It's good early game when everyone has shit guns.
Yeah.
The little Nidar thing.
Yeah, so I've been using this I've used the ground loot, and then I've been using it in Vanguard to level it. It has very little recoil, and the damage is fine. And the fire rate is also fine. It feels very much like a... Man, what would I compare this to? I don't know. Maybe like a Farah or a Krig, sort of. Probably slower fire rate than a Krig, though. It's kind of like a Cold War AK. The same fire rate, but less recoil and less damage. So that's a fine trade-off. And in Vanguard... The sprint to fire is and the ADS speeds are pretty slow with how I have it set up anyway. So this is just like a laser beam gun that, I don't know. It doesn't seem bad. It definitely seems like if this were max level, it would be pretty good on Caldera just because it has no recoil whatsoever. But you're not going to get a crazy time to kill, I can't imagine. So that's fine. I don't know. Will it be meta? Probably not.
It seemed,
honestly, but it seems easy to use, which is something.
What did you think about it in Vanguard?
Yeah, no recoil. Pretty fucking good.
I thought it was terrible.
But
really?
The sprint to fire is really dog shit. You have to play it like you're using an LMG, and then it's pretty good. But if you wanted to move your character, it's terrible. Yeah, because I was noticing the ADS time and the sprint to fire was just completely fucking awful. Why do you ask?
Because it was just terrible to me. I was losing every single gunfight with it. To any gun I came across, I was losing a gunfight when I had that thing. Thought it felt like trash in Vanguard.
What did you dislike about it? Was it the handling or the damage or?
No, I just lost every gunfight because I get 6 hit markers and they would just kill me.
That's weird.
Because every gun in Vanguard 2 or 3 shots, and then that one I felt like it took 5. It felt fucking garbage to me.
That's interesting. It definitely didn't feel as good as the Volk or the Cooper Carbine. Level 1 Cooper Carbine in Vanguard was fucking insane. This is not that. Nor the
level
Wellgun.
Volk is the best AR in Vanguard.
Yeah,
a non-leveled up Volk, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not that, but I don't know. We'll see. And the ground loot in Warzone is fine. Yeah, no recoil. It's a gun. That's pretty much it. I don't know. I have nothing else to say. It's unremarkable.
I haven't noticed it in Warzone, but in Vanguard also, when you're tack sprinting with it, you can't see in front of you. Do you notice that? Because you start tack sprinting, and since the magazine comes off the side at that angle, when your guy brings the gun up, you can't see shit in front of you. That was the other thing. I'm like, cool, this gun blows, man. I can't tack sprint because I can't see anything when I do.
Yeah.
So I haven't noticed if that's the case in Warzone or not, but in Vanguard, it's like, it blocks your whole screen. It's real cool.
Weird. I don't
Sledgehammer really just loves blocking screens, man.
I know. For real. Yeah. Yeah, like the Owen gun, I would use that if it didn't have this magazine, but I just refuse. Yeah. So anyway, Whitley light machine gun. This is also, it's kind of weird because this is kind of the same thing as the KGM40. It's like slow, not crazy damage, it seems like, but it doesn't have recoil either. I haven't used this at all in Vanguard, and I've used only the ground loot in Warzone. And it's like a gun that has no recoil, and it's like bulky. I could see this being really good leveled up in Warzone. I have no idea though. It just depends on the damage drop-offs, the velocity, and the like multipliers, but I have no idea. Have you heard any buzz or used this at all?
No, I haven't heard anything too good about either of these guns. It just seems like they're middle of the road, both set up with low recoil, but doesn't have good damage, doesn't have a good time to kill. So both the ground lit ones do feel similar though. I don't know.
They do
kind
of
just feel like the same type of gun.
Yeah.
They just feel like slow moving ARs or normal moving SMGs kind of. I don't know.
LMGs, yeah.
LMGs, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So, I don't know. Yeah. The jury's still out on this, but the people on Twitter usually can tell if something's good because they will say something is good too early. If they're not saying that, then you know they're not very good.
Yeah.
So.
Also, if you ever see L say something in Discord within 10 minutes of the update coming out, this is going to be the meta, it's broken, you know it's the opposite. And I think he said that about one of those guns. Yeah.
Whatever L says, the opposite is true.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go. Shout out, fuck L. So now you can unlock the Cooper and the Gorenko with little unlock challenges since they're not in the battle pass anymore, since we've moved on from that. And now we're getting into weapon adjustments. So a tip for parsing the following changes. An attribute can increase and be detrimental or decrease and be beneficial. So for example, you can increase the time to kill and that would be detrimental. That would be bad. You could also decrease the aim down sight speed and that would be beneficial because it aims down sight faster. That's what they're trying to say. Thanks. While considering the below changes, it is recommended to focus on the down from or up from language. This is how I've been reading patch notes to you guys for a while now. I've had to translate it in my head and then speak it. They've finally done this themselves by writing it in a way that makes any modicum of sense, so that's good. Down from will always indicate a negative effect. Up from will always be a positive effect. So if it says down from, it's bad. If it says up from, it's good. Also, you can see in the patch notes, for your convenience, I have color-coded every weapon balance change. So if it's in red, it means it was a nerf. If it's green, it was a buff. So there you go. All Vanguard weapons have had their ballistics behavior adjusted to more closely match M-Dub and Cold War weapons. This roughly means a net increase to bullet velocity across the board, which is good. We've been begging for this. So that's a start. Now let's get into it. STG. ADS speed nerfed slightly. C58.
Hardly at all.
Cold War. Yeah, barely. Cold War C58, recoil deviation and magnitude increased. Nerfed, more recoil. And then the Volk, ADS speed slower. 0.265 from 0.26. All of this is pretty minor. The only change I like is the C58 having its recoil adjusted a little bit. Make it a little bit worse. That's fine. STG did not need to be touched. Volk needed to be buffed and not nerfed, so I don't know what
Volk
they're doing.
really needs to be buffed. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but cool.
So,
they've nerfed the Volk like 4 times since Caldera came out. It's never been good once, and they continue to nerf it. What are we doing, Raven?
Yeah.
No one's used it. Has anyone ever made a custom Volk past the
once
third day
died
of
to
Caldera?
one.
No,
Yeah.
because they're terrible.
Exactly.
I don't even pick up the ground loot ones because they suck, man.
Yep.
Buff these suckers.
Yeah,
this is
buff
like the
these
most
suckers.
fun AR to use in Vanguard, and it's just dog shit in Warzone.
I know. It's tragic, really. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know. Not much to say on that. C58 getting nerfed is probably fine. And nerfing the recoil, I think, is a pretty good way to do it. So I'll take that. They buffed a lot of the Vanguard pistols. I don't care.
I know that matters, yeah.
Nerfed the dinner plate. Lower torso multiplier 1.0 to 1 from 1.1. So, okay. And then the Bren also got nerfed. Left upper arm multiplier. I didn't know that existed. Decreased to 1 from 1.1. Lower torso multiplier 1.1 to 1. So that's nerfed as well. And then also right upper arm multiplier. Imagine having different multipliers for different limbs, like the right versus left. Just say upper arm multiplier, guys, please. 1.1 to 1.0. So the Bren was nerfed. However, it's still insanely good. It's still quite popular. It still has very little recoil, very good damage range, very good velocity, and very good damage in and of itself. And I think the Bren is arguably still overpowered. If not, it's still certainly viable. And that's what like Symphony was saying on his stream. That's what other streamers, I think, have been saying as well. I don't know if it's the best full auto long range weapon right now, but it's certainly in the top 3, probably. Certainly top 5. Have you been seeing the Bren, Tanner?
I know all the big streamers are still saying it's still too good and still just the best long range option right now. But I really don't think I died to it yesterday, which was kind of nice to see. I think I'm dying to more EM2s than Brens right now, actually, but it still seems entirely too good, yeah. I think it just needs like a straight damage decrease, honestly. Like 1 or 2 less damage, start there.
Yeah, maybe. Something like that. Because if you're going to give an LMG with that good of damage range and velocity, that little recoil, it needs to not do as much damage. So you either got to give it more recoil or lower the damage. But if you give it more recoil, it's going to feel exactly like the Type 11 LMG or whatever and the DP. Because those have like a little bit of recoil. Certainly more than a Bren. But they have, I don't know, the same damage. Yeah. So it's like there needs to be, I don't know, some kind of upside. So yeah, I think a damage nerf would be good because I think this is still not enough for the Bren. Garand, recoil behavior adjusted, don't care. 3-line rifle, Vanguard. This is a sniper rifle. ADS speed increased to 5.517, down from 0.5, so a little slower ADS. But your ADS strafe increased by 27%, which is giant. Gun bob
that puts that
decreased.
More in line with Cold War snipers.
Yeah, exactly. Good strafe speed now, or decent. Gun bob decreased. That's fine. Movement speed up 3.7%, and the neck damage multiplier increased to 1.6, up from 1.5. So that's a lot of buffs to the 3-line rifle. I've been trying to make this work. I still don't know if the optic is actually aligned on the 3-line rifle. This was shown to be out of alignment by True Game Data, and they did not mention fixing it. And honestly, with how funky it's been feeling to me, I think it is still out of alignment, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Probably is.
Once it's in alignment, do you think these changes will be too good, enough? What are your thoughts on the 3-line rifle?
I don't know. I still just think the car and the Swiss are just ultimately going to be better than everything. I think these just need substantial buffs to be better. They just still handle weird. They feel weird. I don't know. Something about them is just odd.
Yeah.
They're kind of just all trash.
I don't know. Because the Vanguard car feels good. It doesn't feel better than like a Swiss, but I don't know if it feels much worse either. Especially now with the added flinch that like the Swiss has. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where I fall with this, to be honest with you.
Gun Bob's kind of a big one because that's also what like the Swiss and the Car 98 don't seem to have is any Gun Bob. Whereas like
true.
That's noticeable to me on the Tundra from Cold War. That thing has a ton of gun bob. You take one step to the right and your reticle goes like up and down a lot. And that's what you'll notice the Swiss and the Car don't have is good stability. And so I think making a change like that too is kind of something people would overlook, but that's like a pretty important change actually, especially when they also increase the ADS movement speed. That combined with gun bob is making it a lot easier to, strafe back and forth and stay on target.
That's a good point.
So that's interesting, but I don't know. They're just, I still feel like they're not as accurate or don't do as much damage as a Swiss or Car. Something's just off with them.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really want the 3-line rifle to be good. I want the optic to be aligned so that I can use it and like get snapping with it. Because again, I feel like I can make the Vanguard car work. Like I feel like it hits. When it should, etc. But I wish it was, the same for the 3-line. And I wish there was a reason to use a Vanguard car over like a Modern Warfare car or a Swiss, and I'm not sure there is. So anyway, that's that. The Gorenko ADS is a little faster. The Vanguard car ADS is quite a bit slower now. 0.455 down from 0.29. So it's almost twice as slow. I don't know if that needed to be done.
They talk about it right below, I think.
There are two parts which comprise the stats of the Vanguard car: the weapon and the base optic. In the case of the Vanguard car, much of its ADS speed stats were coming from its optics. We've decided to take that ADS speed and spread it out more evenly amongst its attachments. The end result is a more consistent range of ADS speeds that will not vary as wildly depending on the optic alone. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. When considering the changes made to optics and other attachments, this results in a net increase to the Car 98K's Vanguard ADS speeds. See the optics section for additional details. Okay, that makes sense. So does the base optic now offset the nerfed ADS time? Because that's what I would be using.
Well, I think they just mean the other attachments do it too. So I think like your grip, your barrels, your rear grip, your stock are all going to make it ADS quicker. And so it's kind of just offsetting it.
Yeah.
So kind of an interesting change the way they did it.
That's good because you want your attachments to be doing things. If like 90% of the possible ADS speed you can get is from one slot, then it's like the other ones don't even matter. So that's fine. So, okay, That's something. I'll take that. Type 99, which is a sniper. This is like the quickscope sniper for Vanguard, but it doesn't really translate, I feel like, to Warzone. Or just no one's really tried it. I don't really know which of those it is. But the ADS speed is 0.48 up from 0.58. So it's now faster. Pretty decent margin too. So there you go.
Still takes like 3 shots to the upper chest to down someone though. Yeah,
exactly. You really have to be hitting heads. And then gun bob decreased for that as well. So there you go. Not much to say on that. This MP40 max damage range decreased. Not much. Mid damage range decreased. Not much either. Type 100 gun kick adjusted. We don't know what that means. And then the well gun was nerfed a little bit as well. The max damage and mid damage ranges were decreased slightly also. I think that's probably fine. I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think they're fine.
Yeah, they were pretty small changes, so I don't have much to say. Attachments. Cleared up pro, con, and stat bar inconsistencies for most Vanguard attachments. So the descriptions, according to Raven, are going to be more appropriate now. Incendiary rounds. Okay. Base burn damage decreased to 6, down from 9. So the incendiary does less damage. No longer decreases damage range by 5%. Yikes. Now decreases damage by 10%. Oh my god. 3% for sniper rifles. Holy shit. Okay. So here's what they've said about this. Trading damage now for damage later will have many players still equipped with incendiary wondering why they lost an even or slightly advantaged fight. For now, Incendiary will provide a niche use on specific weapons where shots are intermittently hit or fire is unreturned. Players with above average aim will want to find a new type of ammunition to lock and load. Wow. This is a pretty big change. 10% less damage is a fucking huge nerf to Incendiary.
Yeah.
And this raises the question, is it worth using now at all? So the biggest benefit of Incendiary is that it prevents the other person from plating for 750 milliseconds. I wasn't taking it for the burn damage at all. I don't care about the burn damage. Them nerfing the burn damage doesn't matter. However, decreasing all damage by a flat 10% is fucking massive. And then this begs the question, is Incendiary still worth running? Because one thing they've said is like, you should only want to run Incendiary where the burn damage is actually relevant, which is going to be on like slow fire rate guns. So that makes sense. But if you're doing 10% less damage, then getting 6 damage per tick of a burn for like 3 ticks, I don't know if that's even going to offset that. And is a flat 10% damage nerf worth getting the plate delay benefit that we all take Incendiary for? What are your thoughts on this, Tanner? I actually don't know what I'm going to do now.
I don't know. I didn't run it yesterday at all. I wanted to try it, but I didn't feel like using my MP40 setup that I had on it, so I didn't try it. But I know it still is. I was getting hit by it quite often yesterday, and it's still... When you get hit by it, you immediately want to run back. Whereas if you get hit by normal bullets, I feel like you're more... There's a better chance you'll kind of still like ego chow that person and stay in the gunfight rather than full back. At least that's how it works for me. Don't know why it is. It's just I know like shit, I'm getting hit, I'm burning. I know I'm not going to be able to plate when I want to, so I'm going to fall back, try to get a different position. And it's very annoying to fight against. So, it's like I didn't feel like I was winning more gunfights against people that had them, whereas like maybe they otherwise would have usually easily fried me before this damage decrease, but it's still just so annoying to go up against, and I don't want to fight people with them, and I'm just way more likely to back off. So I think this is a good change. I just hope less people start running it because of this. I think the best thing they can do, though, is decrease the amount of time that you can't plate for.
Yes.
If that was like, so what is it, like 750 right now?
Yeah.
If that was like 500 or a little bit lower even, I think that would be enough to make it so people don't run Incendiary maybe, but not really sure on that.
You could even increase how much burning happens per tick and just have 1 or 2 fewer ticks. So you get the same amount of burn damage, but over a shorter period of time so that people can start plating sooner than they can now.
Yeah.
If you wanted to like not nerf it,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't running it and I was doing fine without it, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I hate Incendiary rounds. If they nerf them, that's good. Are you still going to run them on SMGs?
I don't know. Haven't decided yet. I didn't run any Vanguard SMGs yesterday, so I don't know.
Yeah. For me,
trash.
I don't know either. I am curious how many guns. Like, it's possible that a 10% damage nerf to a gun doesn't actually increase your shots to kill at all. So it wouldn't matter. So you would run Incendiary on that gun. Whereas on other guns, this might increase your shots to kill, therefore raising your time to kill, therefore meaning you don't run Incendiary on this. So it is possible that Incendiary remains meta on certain guns and not others. And the guns that it would remain meta on are the guns with a slower fire rate that do more damage per bullet, where losing 10% of the damage does not equate to an extra shot to kill. So the jury's still out on this, and it's really just a math problem. I would expect True Game Data to start testing this, but Incendiary will certainly not be meta on some guns now. Like a PPSH, I just don't see a reason to run Incendiary on anymore. Unless you really value that plate denial. Which is
that's the thing.
Really good question. That's the best part of Incendiary.
That's the thing. It's like people start running back, and that's what you notice. And you see them running because you combine with Combat Scout. So you hit someone with a hipfire PPSH. You see them running away, and you keep chasing them because you know they can't plate.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. It's not the damage. Even if it takes a few more shots to kill, ultimately it's kind of a trade-off because they can't plate up, so they're going to be low health. Whereas otherwise, maybe they would just be able to plate, and then it'd take you a bunch of shots to kill again.
Yes.
But even if the damage is decreased, they can't plate. So then they're going to have less health and you can kill them easier. So I don't know.
Yeah. This is interesting. Overall, I like the change, though, because it is a nerf to Incendiary. And Incendiary is fucking annoying, so I'll take it. And another thing, too, by the way, if you're running Combat Scout, that's another good reason to have Incendiary. Even if you're doing 10% less damage, you might be willing to get that to deny plates and get an extra Combat Scout tick or two.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to think about here, but this is an interesting change, and we'll see where the meta lies in a couple of weeks and get back to you. But overall, interesting change, and I like that they're thinking about it. So lengthened bullet velocity increases 10% instead of from 30%. So this is another thing where I just use lengthen by default on every primary long range gun I have because bullet velocity is really good on Caldera. So this kind of offsets increasing the base velocity of all guns because I ran lengthen on everything I wanted velocity on anyway. So it's probably a wash, and my effective bullet velocity is now probably about the same, if not lower, if you're only getting an increase of 10% down from 30%. If you're only
and there's still nothing better to run at range for a long range setup.
Well, I don't know about that. Hollow point might be worth it now, because if I'm shooting someone at 50 meters, I can't expect to hit every shot upper torso. So if I can be getting more damage on those limb shots and only losing 10% bullet velocity, I might start doing it. Do you think 10% velocity is still always better for you for your main gun over something like hollow point? Yeah
I think so, always.
Interesting.
I won't be changing them now. I'll be keeping all those things on lengthen still.
Interesting. I don't know if I will, honestly. I don't know. This is another thing, again, we're gonna have to see where the meta shifts, and it depends on the gun maybe too. Because like a 3-line rifle, if you put 30-06 in it, that already has really good velocity. But then you wouldn't want anything else on a sniper anyway, actually.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't matter. I don't know. Yeah. So in light of all the other changes, this might not be as big of a deal as I'm making it sound. And we're going to get more into that. But this is a change for sure. And we'll probably circle back to this in the future and revisit what are the best ammo types now. That's probably going to be a Patreon episode soon for SMGs and for long range guns, and we'll get back to you guys on this for sure. All right, so last section here is just on barrels and other attachments. And we are not going to be reading these because there are a million changes to a million attachments. And if we read them to you, it's not like you're going to remember, oh, this barrel on that thing got its fucking ADS speed increased by 0.3 of a millisecond. Cool. So we're going to give you the broad strokes, and we're going to read this little excerpt. Never mind. Oh yeah. As a whole, Vanguard weapons have been lacking in bullet velocity, when compared to the competition. We felt it was necessary to provide more bullet velocity to Vanguard weapons so they could compete more consistently in long-range engagements. To remedy this, we have added bullet velocity to most Vanguard barrels. And that is indeed what they've done. If you scroll through here, you know, bullet velocity increased 20%, 17%, 30%, 35%, 40%. Holy
Jesus.
shit, man. Does it ever end? 50. No, I'm kidding. 40's the max that I'm seeing here. But like, yeah, a bunch of barrels just have more bullet velocity now. And there have been some other changes.
Trade-offs for them though too. So it's like these ones that they add like 40% bullet velocity on, they have like 4 downsides too. You know, it's like they'll have slower ADS, slower ADS movement, slower movement speed in general. So they kind of just compensate and add a shitload of velocity there, but also added a bunch of negatives to it.
Which is probably fine because this is all like mirroring these barrels and these attachments with how they work in Cold War or Modern Warfare.
And
so
these
getting
are
them more in line.
And a barrel that's increasing velocity by 40% is obviously designed to be a long range barrel. So stuff like hip fire accuracy doesn't matter as much.
Exactly.
A 2% difference in movement speed doesn't matter a ton because it's you should be building them to be a long range AR.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So yeah, there's a bunch of just net velocity boosts. And then if it has a ton of velocity, yeah, the mobility in general has been hit a little bit. But overall, these are all good changes because we did need more bullet velocity on a lot of these weapons. So, and
there actually are some 50%. Wow.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, I saw. And as they said, hopefully these changes are reflected in the description in game because they did say that they've shored up inconsistencies with what the stats say in game versus what they actually do according to the patch notes. So that's good too. So yeah, and then other than that, next section. The following Vanguard optics have had adjustments to their appearance and or behavior. This potentially includes changes to ADS speed, ADS position, so how close your dumb eyeball is to the reticle, or the optic, both, and magnification level. And they list every single Vanguard optic. So you can see here, like all the optics. So, I did not notice this, to be honest. Tanner didn't either. But this is something they had done with Cold War optics, or some of them, when that integration had occurred. They changed the position of the axial and how much it zooms, because it used to be equivalent to like 8x. They've zoomed it way back so it was about equal to a VLK. And then they also made the optic, the bezel, and the reticle look more similar to the VLK as well. That is what they're starting to do with the Vanguard guns. Again, I didn't notice really anything, but the fact that they're even paying attention is a good start, at least. What did you notice? What are your thoughts on these optical changes?
Yeah, like we'd said in the Patreon app, I only use like 2 or 3 of them. Maybe I'll try some more out after this. Like the 3.5x or one of those that some people run that I never liked. I'll see if it's any different, but I didn't notice any huge changes. No.
Yeah.
One other thing I did kind of just want to point out is you can tell they're kind of also now trying to buff the marksman rifles. Like when we were going through all those barrels and shit, like the M1 Grand and SVT-40 pretty much received buffs to barrels and specific attachments that also had 0 nerfs to those. So those may start coming into play here pretty soon. Like some pretty big changes, like 50% bullet velocity, 6% higher ADS movement speed. So maybe those are getting better now where you actually may want to use them. Probably not, but I do like that they are making some changes to those because those are just a completely unused category.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They wouldn't be one-shot headshots, though.
And they still use sniper ammo.
So, yeah. That would be the next change, because, like, we did see an FAL meta once upon a time in Warzone, which was a semi-automatic AR from Modern Warfare. But it didn't last very long, and it had to be extremely good. When that was when that was meta, only half of meta slaves used it, which never happens. And it was really overpowered. Like, it was pretty ridiculous. So if we were ever going to see a semi-auto meta or even viable semi-autos, they would have to definitely not use sniper ammo, like you just said. Yeah. But the fact that they're keeping an eye on it is good. And then that's pretty much it. A lot of attachment changes. Then they go into the download size and all that. So that's the patch. As I said, we will be covering our impressions of the patch on Thursday. But based on the notes and the limited experience we do have, what's your overall impression of Season 2 so far?
Best season we've had in a really long time. Yeah, we'll get real in depth on Thursday, but redeploy balloons are probably actually the best thing they've ever added in Warzone.
Yeah.
I mean, just so fucking good. The most fun. Cope and I were just going from balloon to balloon earlier because they were so much fun. Just hitting them. We see, oh, there's one over there. Let's go land on that one. Then we hit that. I can't wait for the nutty snipes. You're going to see people flying off those. I've gotten 3 or 4 hit markers already. The most I've done is I've cracked someone. I haven't been able to get a kill, though, but I will get that pretty soon. There's going to be a lot of nutty, crazy plays with those. I'm very excited. They're just so much fun. Just a great change. I'm so glad they thought of doing this. It's perfect for Caldera, too, because the way the map is designed, it's hard to traverse a lot of it, obviously. So these redeploy balloons are just, they fucking clap, man. So overall, the season's been really good. The new POI is fantastic. Loving everything. Trying out more guns. I think we are seeing kind of guns move into being more meta than they previously were. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about the AS-44. Right after we recorded that Patreon episode, by the way, where I was talking about the AS-44, I got on Twitter, and one of the big female streamers was like, okay, this may be the new meta. And she posted this AS-44 clip. 0 recoil, insane velocity. I was like, dude, that's what I was thinking right there. So I'm going to try that out today too. I think it is going to be one of the best guns now, finally.
Very nice. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm very happy with this season as well. A couple things I didn't love. Obviously, the removal of big game bounties, not great. The amount of money, not great. But all in all, a net positive. And the really big changes we got were very good. Like the redeploy balloons. A lot of the weapon balancing has been good. I'm glad Incendiary got nerfed. And this seems to be the case on Twitter as well. People are really enjoying this update. And I've seen only good things about this update on Twitter from all these streamers. Like, oh, best update yet since Caldera came out. Some people saying best update ever. Those redeploy balloons are no small part of that. And the POI is good. The new POI is fine. So I think we're on the right trajectory. We are on the right path. And there were a lot of bug fixes and a lot of weapon balancing that occurred. So as we keep doing all kinds of crazy weapon balance like we're doing, we will inch closer and closer to the Vanguard guns being on par or better than the Cold War ones. And that's when I'm going to really have a lot of fun, because I can finally use a bunch of new guns that will also be the most competitive in Warzone in a way that you still really can't right now, besides like a Bren. So great change. Very excited by it. And we'll have more thoughts for you guys on Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Once again, tournament, Dropshot Invitational number 4. Signups close in 10 days. So make sure you sign up. We have 1 or 2 sponsorship slots available. So if you want to sponsor the tournament, please let us know as soon as possible. We're going to have 6 more Patreon bonus EPs for this month. Patreon.com/thedropshot is the best way to support the show. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Have an excellent evening, of course. And as always, remember, stay humble.
Simple.